All right, I'm advised that the jury has arrived at a verdict. Again, as before, I will expect no outbursts either way upon reading the verdict. Are there matters that we need to discuss before we receive the verdict?
Not from the state, Your Honor. Thank you.
Not
No,
from-
Your Honor.
Not from the defense.
Bring in the jury, please. Madam Foreperson, has the jury arrived at a verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would you please hand the verdict form to the bailiff, who will transmit it to me? Will the defendant please rise? In the case of State of West Virginia versus Natalie Cochran, case number 23-F-343K, the verdict is as follows. Having found the defendant guilty of murder of the first degree, we, the jury, recommend the following. We, the jury, unanimously do not recommend mercy. The verdict form is signed by Holly Rich, foreperson of the jury. It is dated 1/30/2025. Does the state wish to examine the verdict as to form?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Does the defense?
No, Your Honor.
You may be seated. Is there a request that the court poll the jury?
Not from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
The court will receive the recommendation of the jury. It will be recorded and received fully by the court. The court has no discretion in this matter. I'm not sure that it would be useful to have a pre-sentence report or to even come back for sentencing.
Post-trial motions, Your Honor.
We certainly can deal with post-trial motions, but the court, I believe, will go forward with sentencing at this time. I'll ask the defendant to please rise. It is the judgment and ruling of the court that the defendant, Natalie Cochran, be, and she is committed to the penitentiary of this state for her natural life without the possibility of parole. I'll preserve all defense exceptions to the sentence imposed. You may be seated. Members of the jury, I appreciate your service. This is no comment at all on your verdicts, but you have been here. You have done everything that the court has asked you to do. You have been attentive. You have paid attention to all matters presented before you. I can excuse you from this trial, but I cannot release you from service. And so you are now pros in terms of jury service, and you will have to be available until May, the May term. It is very likely that you will be called in for other trials, civil or criminal. And so you know what to expect. You know what the situation involves. Thank you very much. We could not operate without you. and I sincerely appreciate your cooperation and patience. You may now follow the bailiff to your jury room and depart with the court's sincerest appreciation. All right, I'll ask the state to prepare an order in the premises. Is there anything further that we need to discuss?
This may seem like a silly point, but is the court sentence imposed consecutively with the federal sentence, or?
I think it is a sort of unusual question, and I don't know that it makes any difference, to be honest. I'll run it concurrently with the federal sentence.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything further? And of course, we'll schedule all motions, hearings. The court will certainly take up appropriate motions to be filed by the defense.
Of course, it's academic, Your Honor, but we will need to figure out nevertheless the credit for time served in this case, which may or may not have some type of impact in the future. Secondly, we need, well, this is more of a question of the court. The court envisions a hearing on post-trial motions, and at that time, I do believe that the court will have to reaffirm the sentence if the court rejects our motions, because the time of the for the appellate purposes will have to start running from a very specific date, and that is the date of the entry of the sentencing order. So I think that the court will have to re-sentence the defendant if the court rejects our post-trial motions.
The
So we
court
can
will
have,
certainly do that. I've done that many times in the past,
Okay.
and we can do that to accommodate the time for appeal. I can set a hearing date for post-trial motions. I'm looking first at February the 24th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
1st of February, Your Honor. Is that what you?
February the 24th.
Oh, 24th.
Your Honor, I need just a few minutes to pull up my calendar.
Okay, take your time.
Judge, I'm sorry, I already know I cannot do that.
Okay, February the 25th, 2025 at 9 a.m.
That's more like it, yes.
I believe that would correspond to my schedule, Your Honor.
Is that agreeable with the state?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, we'll set down February the 25th, 2025 at 9 a.m. To take up any post-trial motions. Is there anything further that we need to discuss?
I also believe that at that time, the court would advise my client of her right to an appeal and appoint counsel for the appeal.
Yes.
Very well.
Your Honor, I just have one query.
All right.
I do have an abuse and neglect case scheduled for the afternoon. Does the court have any anticipation of how long this will take?
I have the morning set aside. I can't imagine that it would run into the afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we are adjourned.